Welcome to Come to Your Senses, the School of Sensual Living podcast. I'm your host, Mary Lofgren. Here, we explore how to live bravely and beautifully through pleasure, mindfulness, embodiment, femininity, beauty, art, and of course, everyday sensuality. Hello, everyone. It's Mary, and welcome back to the podcast. I am so thrilled to deliver the most shimmering gift to you today, which is a conversation between myself and one of my great mentors and inspirations, Rodrick Covington. Rodrick is the founder of a boutique fitness studio in New York City called Core Rhythm Fitness that can also be accessed via Zoom from anywhere in the world. Rodrick is an incredibly talented Broadway actor and singer. He is a tremendous motivator. And most importantly, as it pertains to this podcast, he is a fierce advocate of radical self-love when it comes to the body. This conversation was incredibly moving and inspiring in terms of ways to relate to fitness and exercise and nutrition, which is Rodrick's specialty, but perhaps even deeper is how we use this radical self-love in the body to show up to be vehicles of positive change in the world. I hope you enjoy. Hello, Rodrick.
Hello, beautiful goddess Mary.
Rodrick and I were just catching up, and I feel like chatting with you is like sitting on a velvet couch in some fancy lounge somewhere. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share you with my listeners, as you've had a really profound effect on my life. And you actually don't know this, but several months ago, probably a year ago, actually, I got introduced to you through our mutual friend, Ann Mahler.
My
And,
girl.
Ann and I are live in this fairy world, And when I saw Ann doing box jumps on Instagram at this fitness class, I was like, what is going on? That just seemed so out of character. And I got introduced to you and to Core Rhythm Fitness. And there was something really, really compelling about the passion and the purpose that you brought to fitness that was so unique. And at that time, I felt really, really disconnected to my body, and especially to just the practice of caring for my body through nutrition and fitness. So one of my most compelling reasons for moving back to New York was to work with you.
What? Wow. I did not know that. I mean, I do remember meeting you, and
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday, Mary, because you were such love, light, and joy. And I even told Ann, I was like, who is that goddess? She was like, that's my friend, Mary. Oh, I knew you was going to love her when you met her.
Well, and that, as we were talking before, there are a million things that I would love to talk to you about, but that quality is the main thing that I would love to chat with you about is the word purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are the owner of a boutique celebrity fitness company in New York City. You are an amazingly talented singer, actor, and performer. You are a passionate leader in the Black Lives Matter movement. And what I so admire about you is that, for so many people, I think purpose is like this thing that we feel like we have to find, like it's like the perfect fall coat. And it's out there, and I got to find my purpose and make sure it's the right one. And what you do is you bring purpose to every little thing that you do. And so I'd love to just start by talking about that word and what that means to you and where you draw purpose from.
Mm. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mary, for having me on your podcast. It is such an honor. Um, you are just such a goddess of love.
Mm,
Um, but the word purpose for me really stems from identity as opposed to what I'm doing. It's more about the being, who you are. So many times with the word purpose, in my uh, teenage days, I used to uh, dream and think about what I would do. Like, what is my purpose? My purpose is to be an actor. My purpose is to, be a singer. And so for a while, I did think that my purpose was to be an actor, but I came at a crossroad where in my career, where I was training and I was doing shows, Broadway particularly, and I thought that I had to choose between training and being a performer. And that's when I took this life coaching workshop called Momentum, which got me together and really taught me that my purpose is more about who I choose to be. And when I'm clear about my identity, then I can be, whoever I like that same that being could be rooted in the purpose wherever I'm going, whoever I connect
mhm,
with. So when I'm acting, when I'm telling a story, my purpose is activating, motivating, inspiring. I'm using the vehicle of storytelling. When I'm teaching or training, my purpose is I'm activating, motivating, inspiring. I'm using the vehicle, training, teaching a class. When I'm in the streets, marching or speaking, my purpose is activating, motivating, inspiring. I'm just using I'll at that time I'm using the vehicle of speaking or leading a march or chanting or whatever. So so my purpose has been really consistent. There have just been vehicles, into where it looks. And so I think that when we're clear about our purpose, we don't what it looks like, it doesn't matter
mhm,
because I think it's you're clear about the why. When you're clear about the why, the what doesn't matter. Like, for instance, we shut completely down during this pandemic. I mean, not
mhm,
training people, not having group classes, but right when we shut down, it's like, well, it's going to look different, but the why is still the same of why we're in this fitness business or whatever.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yes. And, I was thinking about that this morning that when you don't when you don't really know your values and your vision, it's really easy to feel like, oh God, I'm so busy, but I'm not getting anything done, which is
Mhm.
something I know a lot of people experience because there are so many distractions,
So
and
much.
it's almost like purpose, as you're describing it, is this marriage to what you love being what gets you out of bed in the morning rather than just what you like getting you out of bed in the morning.
Wow.
Because, like, when I wake up and I jump into a workout with you and the community, it's not because I like to. I mean, I like to, like, 20 or 30 minutes in, but it's because I love the way that I feel and the community that I'm a part of. And I love you.
100%.
And so I'm curious, like those words activate, motivate, inspire. Is there anything that you might want to share about kind of how you arrived at those words and more, I think more specifically, like how you knew those were yours?
Mm. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you mentioned this morning and how, you know, you and most people don't want to get up and work out. Which when I train trainers, that's one thing that we teach as far as like, don't ask people how they're feeling at 8 or 10 a.m. in the morning because they don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
our purpose to activate, motivate, and inspire them, during that time. Um, and that's why I talked about this morning. Intentional movement is showing up, facing your pain, facing your fear, facing your hurt, facing those things and those times where you don't want to. But intentional movement is showing up anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you and the community have been embodying this, entire pandemic. And so those particular words activate, motivate, and inspire. I claimed and really embraced those words, Mary, because one, there was a time in my life, I mean, as you know, I'm the 18th child out of 19, um,
Mm-hmm.
which is a part of my story because being the 18th child, it's just very intense. From my
Mm-hmm.
experience, amazing family, amazing parents. At the same time, it was their 18th child. So they were done. They were, I mean, coming to any school functions or supporting, or looking out, they were done.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my adolescent and teenage years, there was this feeling of being completely looked over. And when
Mm-hmm.
you feel looked over, you don't feel seen. We don't feel seen. There's just a lack of motivation that can set in. However, early on, I decided because I felt like no one was going to be there to help me, I decided that I want to be somebody. I don't know what that somebody looks like, but I want to be somebody that can support my family, somebody that can be, that can motivate others the way that I want to be motivated. So the way that I motivate or the way that I talk to people, that's the way that like I want to be motivated. That's the way that it motivates me.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I imagine it reparents you a little bit. Like
yeah,
I love this word reparenting of self, of like really
yes,
being the provider of what we needed but wasn't available when we were little.
100%.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how did you come? So, when you were growing up, did you want to be an actor and a singer? Was that your primary desire?
At first, at 9 years old, I remember I wanted, crazy enough, I wanted to be a preacher.
Mm-hmm. That's not crazy at all. I mean, you kind of are.
Facts. I wanted to be a preacher because that's all I knew. And then I wanted to be a singer. And then I wanted to be an actor. So it came in that order.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a priest growing up. That
Oh,
was my.
you are a priestess. You are a priestess, honey.
We are living it.
Yes.
I used to dress up. I actually have a picture of me wearing my dad's bathrobe with a scarf around my neck, standing at our table with a tablecloth and two candles on it because I would hold mass at home. Um,
Wow. Wow.
and so how did you arrive at training and fitness?
Mm. So I arrived at training in fitness really when I started conservatory training at SUNY Purchase, and Dean Israel Hicks, bless his soul, he's passed away. He told me, I'll never forget it because this is literally how I arrived. He told me that, Rodrick, you are talented, but you need to hit the weights because if you're going to ever be a leading man, you need to be not just talented, but you need to be spiritually strong, mentally strong, and physically strong. I was like, wow,
Wow.
I hate the gym. And so I remember, Mary, um, praying and meditating before I went to the gym. And it was like 6 a.m. That morning. And I remember praying over my body and literally anointing every part of my body. And that day, I surrendered my body to God. And I
Mm,
said that I just surrendered my body. And the reason why I work out is going to be so that I can have the body that is designed for me. I want it. And so
mm,
I just surrender every single part. I work out so that I can surrender my body, not to like get, this or that.
mhm.
And that's really how the journey started.
Wow. I surrender my
Yeah.
body to God.
Yeah.
That is so incredibly powerful. And that is exactly what I feel. I recorded a podcast a few weeks ago called Things I Learned from Losing 20 Pounds because my whole life, in the first 20 years of my life, I worked out constantly from that place of desperately wanting to be loved
Mm,
and feeling like if I could just look like my idea of lovability, that I could force that to happen.
right.
And then, having a healing around that and uh, and having a true healing. But I love the expression that everything is either poison or medicine depending on how you relate to it,
Yep.
and that there was also this kind of experience where the only way that I knew how to be with my body was to not be with that, how
Right.
to just to avoid exercise and diet and nutrition and things like that completely. And that was my journey. That's not anybody else's journey. Like that was just my personal experience. And so when I found Core Rhythm Fitness and was introduced to it, at that time I was dealing with this really intense sciatic situation, piriformis
Mhm.
situation that I had been in
Yep.
PT with for months. And the physical therapist was like, do not go to that class. That's going to be way too hard for you. But I trusted my intuition and I just went, and I got to take one class in person in New York before the
Oh,
pandemic hit.
that's right before the pandemic.
It was right before. It was like days before. And
Yeah.
then the pandemic hit and we were all working out on Instagram in this incredibly life or death situation. And
Right.
so anyway, so I am just so grateful for the way that you have created an experience of fitness and of, like you say, giving your body the best, and the universe will give you the best. I remember Billy Porter talking about
Oh.
your classes as a ministry,
Mhm.
and that's I mean that's what I feel is like when I am there. I am doing these workouts that I used to do to hurt myself, and this is how I'm healing myself, and it all has to do with that purpose and that intention.
100%.
Yeah. So, as I shared earlier, you are a leader and an activist in the Black Lives Matter movement,
Mhm.
and that something that I shared with you in our email exchange about setting up this conversation was the way that white supremacy and racism numbs us to the truth about purpose.
Mhm.
And and I recently heard on a different podcast someone talking about how the way that racism separates us from one another is that it robs us of our own humanity. You know, it robs us of it robs you of your humanity if you're white, it robs you of your humanity if you're black. And
Hmm.
I wonder if there's anything that you want to share or feel moved to share about the experience of being a black man in America in 2020, and the way that you have kind of taken your pain and your outrage and, like you do with fitness, used your body and your gift to create change.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, to that question or statement, it is imperative that black or white in 2020, we face racism head on. And
Mm-hmm.
so the root of it, I feel, is in our systems. And so I think it's important that we challenge the systems and the institutions that have stood for so long in America to oppress people either overtly or inadvertently. For example, the uh, police system. From my experience as a black man in America, the police has never been to protect and serve. That's not how I
Mm-hmm.
have experienced the police. And so in 2020, with a continuing of multiple murders that we continue to see, from live videos, but there are so many different videos that we don't see from different police murdering victims, which are all
Mm-hmm.
black and brown people. It's time to dismantle that system, um, because I do believe that you cannot change hearts, but we can change systems to protect people. Because people are going to choose to love, to hate. We all have that choice. We have that freedom of choice to love and hate. And I believe that racism is steeped, buried in hate.
Mm-hmm.
Unity, coming together, seeing each other, through our character. I believe that is rooted in love, and so we have a choice, right? And so it is. I feel our duty to challenge and dismantle the different systems that continue to propagate racism.
Mm-hmm. One of the teachers that I follow, her name is Andrea Renee. She said this wonderful quote recently, which is that culture and systems often is seen as this thing outside of us, but actually all cultures and systems are decisions that have been communally made over hundreds of years, you know, and that how we change a culture or a
Yeah.
system isn't by focusing on, well, is by focusing on this thing outside of us in some ways, but is also by changing and making different decisions and aligning with different ways of being. And what I'm hearing and what you're saying is that where that change begins is with how we divest in these illusions of things like protection, and invest in actual healing and reparation.
Yeah, and I think the intersection for me, which is the work that I do with CRF, is I feel like I'm with the core of the fitness, I'm combating a lot of self-hate. So a lot of people that get into nutrition and fitness, have a lot of self-hate. So that's why core of the fitness is rooted in radical self-love, which is one of my favorite writers, Sonya Renee Taylor. She says that it's much different than self-acceptance or self-confidence. It is a whole nother level of really like facing your pain, your fears, your insecurities, and covering it with grace, and really allowing your body, mind, spirit to transform. So that if we can transform individuals, then we can transform culture and the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the work I'm doing with corporate fitness. But outside, you know, I'm going for the systems, because I think that like things like corporate fitness or therapy or whatever can only transform people inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as like community, I think that our systems need a transformation, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to reimagine how we see our systems.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And something that has been really incredible about my experience at CRF is how healing it has been to interface with discomfort and build strength in an environment where I feel really supported and encouraged. And the effect that that has on my ability to withstand discomfort and to call upon strength when making different decisions and when showing up to be a part of that change. And I
Yeah.
feel like, I mean, I see this in so many people who come to class, and these are people I haven't even met ever, you know? But like I see them every single week, and
Yeah.
I see their changes and their strength and their
Yeah.
willingness. And I know that for white folks, fragility is a thing, and
Mhm.
it's been a really powerful experience to come up against my own like I remember, I mean, when I started working out with you, I was using 1 pound dumbbells. You know what I mean? Like I was terrified. I mean, I just was terrified. And now I'm having a much different experience. And
Much.
I know.
I see you, honey.
I was on you already know this, of course, but for our listeners, I was on in class with my boyfriend recently, and I was doing tricep push-ups on a chair,
Mhm,
and I was
mhm.
a little nervous
One
about being
arm.
in class with him, and I was like, I'm kicking his ass. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
all over the floor.
And just the metaphor of that when we have to come up against our own fragility in showing up to change these systems and showing up
Right.
to humbly accept and receive leadership from the Black community and not try to co-opt the movement with our ideas.
Mm, wow. Yes, love. Oh, no.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes from Desiree Adaway about participating in change is that it's a 3-step system of awareness, analysis, action, and that for so many people there's this jumping from awareness to action, which really
Yeah.
causes harm, and that the discipline is really listening for those who are already in leadership. And I learned so much from that.
Wow, that is so good and
Mm-hmm.
so needed, in the movement today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, if someone wanted to take a class or get introduced to core rhythm fitness, how would they go about that?
So if someone want to so we call it, and I'm sure you know this because we call it a group fitness offering. We always call it an offering because when you are in a quote unquote class, you are there to give,
Mm-hmm.
because what you give, that is what becomes a cycle of what gives back to you. So it is an offering. You are offering your best so that you can receive your best. So a way that a person can take any CRF group offering, I mean, the first offering is free. You can use a promo code, either CRF Rodrick. They created one for me, CRF Rodrick, or CRF Iman, or just first class. Just to see if it is a community for you, because any CRF offering, it is a communal experience. There will be much asked of you, not just for fitness wise, but also mentally for you to share, and spiritually for you to share, because it's a communal experience.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And I wonder if
Yeah.
there's anything that you might want to share. Like, I know many of my listeners are in recovery from eating disorders. That's a part of my
Hmm.
journey. And I know that when I came to, kind of like I said, I worked out with 1 pound weights and I was absolutely terrified, because my experience in gyms and fitness class was always one of incompetence and competition, and
Hmm.
feeling like I was just so unsupported, not necessarily by the teachers, but having had a lot of trauma around the body, it was like I just didn't even know how to ask for the support that I needed. And is there
Right.
anything that you might want to share to someone who is interested but might feel intimidated?
Of course. And Mary, for a long time, I couldn't understand why people would be intimidated. I was like, oh my God, this is such a place of self-radical love. How can you be intimidated? But the videos and just fitness can be intimidating for a lot of people because of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and from listening to your podcast before about your experience, it took me on a journey of, one, body positivity, and then two, really, I discovered this author. If you've never read anything she's written, her name is Sonia Renee Taylor, and she has a book, The Body is Not an Apology. And it is so good, and literally has been the foundation of CRF for since the beginning.
Mm.
So any person that, or body that, has any type of trauma and is recovering, one, we have dietitians on staff that is well experienced in any type of eating disorders, or even diabetes, or any type of trauma recovery when it comes to nutrition. And then fitness wise, the before I even log on, or I log on, but before I allow people to come into the virtual space or actual space, the energy that we look to create is a mantra. And it's we want people to say, I love my body. I am a vessel of radical self-love. My body is my ally. I have the body I need to live and give my best.
Mm.
And so that is the energy that I hope for anyone to experience in any CRF offering. And so, because I feel like if you experience that energy of love, then that can activate you to get out of your mind and into your body, which is the safe place. So then you can embrace your spirit and embrace your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because while you're embracing it, you're coming up against those challenges of, like, because the mind is like, oh, I can't do this. But embrace it and stay in your body and do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because the experience is for the fitness enthusiasts of that is, extremely experienced, and it's also programmed for the novice who has not been to a fitness class. with that in mind, whatever level you're on, you're going to get your best.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And, something that has helped me too is like when I was starting out, is when you would offer modifications, I would just do the
Always.
modifications, even if I thought I could do the. And actually, when I first started out, I went in there with the ego of, a warrior because I just wanted to like keep up and that old feeling of like, if I fall behind, like the runt of the litter, like the last one picked in gym class, which was, my experience growing up, like I will be shamed. And it took me a little bit of
Mm,
time to reorient myself to what was actually happening rather than kind of projecting my past experiences onto what was happening. And receive and accept the modifications and ask for help, if there was something I didn't know how
right,
to do, or there was something that,
right.
like in the nutritional counseling, like if there was something that I wasn't comfortable with, like really be assertive about what I knew I needed to be a steward of safety for my own body. Because I think that
Hmm.
for those of us who have had eating disorder and physical trauma, it's like there's this feeling of like my body doesn't belong to me in this handing over of
Right.
authority.
Hmm.
Um, and another
Wow.
thing that I really love and that I know has been a long time coming for you is the video technology that you now have.
Yes. Oh,
And that
yes.
shows all of the movements and yeah, I mean, I know that's been a journey for you, is developing that technology.
Mary, no one has it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's
true.
not on the market yet, and so we just developed it from scratch. I want to ask, actually, how has the experience been for you with
It's
the
been
technology?
awesome. It's been awesome. And it really helps me. Like today, when we were doing the bridge lifts, and
Yes.
I didn't know if I was supposed to lift my hips or keep them on the floor. And you
Hmm.
always demonstrate at the start, but just having it there the whole time, I could just
Right.
kind of reference back to it. And I know that as the instructor, that gives you a lot more freedom and flexibility to keep your attention on us as we're working. And that's something I just so cherish about my experience working out with you, is the attention that you give so generously. And recently Patrick and I were doing a video, just like a YouTube hit video.
Hmm.
And he was like, it's just really not the same without someone in the background going, Patrick! The, the way that you do.
I mean, I love being like having the flexibility to just focus on the clients and not do so much of the demoing. I mean, I love the demoing too because it gets my heart rate up, but you know, with the technology of us having the demo of the exercise, it's just really allows the instructor focus on every single client and make sure the form is really corrected, and people who need modifications can just modify. I mean, I can't wait till we get it into the other classes, because they already like, when are we gonna have it? We want it. We want it now.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing that I just want to ask you is, what has been the experience for you in this pandemic experience? Because you were showing up to teach classes in person every single day before the
Mhm.
pandemic hit, right? Or almost every day
Every
at a
day.
gym.
Hmm.
And now, like for me as the receiver of the experience and the client in that experience, I mean, it has been the thing that has kept me sane through all of this uncertainty, and not just sane, but hopeful and inspired to
Wow.
come and see all of these members of the CRF community, you know,
Mm.
again, who I've never met, but who I show up for every day. And I know
Wow.
that they show up for me because there's
100%.
this common experience of choosing, like that Sonia Renee Taylor quote that you said, you know, choosing radical self-love. And I'm
Yes.
curious what it's been like for you to be able to adapt in this really wildly, turbulently changing time,
Mhm.
um, when your work is so usually so in person.
I was just talking about that with my husband last night, because we were both just sharing over dinner how we felt before the pandemic and during, like, when it started, and then now, and how our experience have just been completely opposite.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
before the pandemic, I was exhausted,
Mm.
Mary. I wanted to give up. We were, I mean, was very close to shutting down, like, my business. I was just exhausted, and
Mhm.
I felt like I wasn't innovating, it just felt really slow. But then the pandemic happened, and the pandemic is horrible, with so many lives
Mhm.
being lost. At the same time, for me personally, it's been a gift because it's allowed me to pause and really revisit and reinvest in my why, in my purpose.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
before the pandemic, with my purpose, I was just tired. And
Mhm.
as a small business, I wanted to hit these numbers that I wasn't. It's hard to hit, and so my focus became these numbers. But then when the pandemic happened, there were no numbers to hit. Like,
Right.
it was no number, it was in no goal. We were done,
Right. Right.
so doing it has been literally all it's just been about the love of it. Like, there's no
Yeah.
numbers. I mean,
Right.
I've never been here before with the virtual.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
um, with love, the loving love of it being the drive and the focus, it has been absolutely wonderful. It's changed how I teach. Because like before, when I'm in the studio, I'm making sure that I'm like touching everyone, right? But here now
Mhm.
it's virtual. So now, mm, it's more about my energy. I want to make sure that my energy is virtually reaching everyone, because virtually it's easy to tune off. There are
Mhm.
people that take our offerings. They never have, if you notice, they never have their videos on,
Mhm.
but they always email me and let me know that, wow, Roderick, thank you so much for that class. I felt like you were talking right to me. I felt like you saw
Mhm.
me, Roderick. And they don't even have their video on. But the truth is, that's it's changed my teaching, because it's more about, it made me so much sensitive to energy. So I can feel if when a person's video is off, if they're not doing it. I can feel when they
Mhm.
stop. And
Mhm.
so it's really helped me there with energy. And then too, it's allowed us to innovate. Like, we for the you know for and also for the first time, Mary, I got an investor. And that only
Mm.
happened because of virtual. I mean, the investor, he lives in Miami. He doesn't live in New York. I haven't seen him in maybe 10 years,
Wow.
in person. But has been experiencing the virtual, and he wanted to come on as co-owner and invest in the technology that we're now able to experience. And we're gonna, we have plans to raise. like capital to like make it even just so much better. Like now, Mary, my vision has been activated. Like it's like I have a fresh vision for, the company, which before the pandemic, the vision was just to get another studio space.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's so much bigger. There's
Mm-hmm.
so much more opportunity because virtually we were able to reach so many more people and even a little bit more effectively because of the convenience. A person doesn't have to like move like you did to New York or have to come down to the studio before work, but they could just wake up, you know, have an offering and then get ready and go to work. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been invigorating during this pandemic time and the community that you get to experience, where my hope is every single person feels completely different than when they started.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be completely honest. I love the virtual experience actually even more than in person, which is like, oh, I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. Um, I mean, I don't know when we're gonna be able to do group fitness again.
Yeah,
One day we
it's
will,
true.
but honestly, I will still be doing virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's changed my life. It's changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed how I teach. It's a gift. I'm really, really enjoying it, and it really warms my heart, soul, and spirit to hear you say that it's been a gift for you. I was kind of thinking about that this morning. I was like, I had to really remind my mind to release worry, because a little bit of worry in me started to kind of worry about, oh, I hope, the people that's taking classes are not getting tired of the classes because it's some people that take the classes for 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, what makes it new every time is the energy. I mean, like, there's just literally nothing, and like, to just speak to what you said about, you can absolutely do a YouTube video or an app or whatever, but there is nothing like your energy in particular. I mean, let's be honest, but just
Mm,
the energy of being in a group with people that you see on a consistent basis. Like when we do Tabata and you turn the camera on Eric and Yasmin, and and again, like, these are people that I don't know, the McKendrys. Come on, like, it's the best. And it just
my
brings
baby.
so much joy, and I am so grateful and feel so lucky because it was a really hard decision to leave New York again.
Wow.
Being able to connect with you and the energy of CRF, it's like it eases the heartache of missing New York a lot in my life. Yeah.
Mm, I'm literally like hugging myself, just virtually hugging you.
And, several of my friends have joined the community. And now, like, my friend this morning who's from Miami, my friend who's from Cincinnati, it's like we can all be a part of CRF together. And it's just amazing.
Who's your friend in Miami? Is that Aaliyah?
Aaliyah and then Chantel in Cincinnati.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know Aaliyah was
Yeah.
through you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm obsessed. Oh my God. It was her birthday yesterday. And
Yeah.
I was like literally at the gym, like, oh my God, it's her birthday today. And I don't get to like shout her out. I was like, Iman, please shout Aaliyah out.
Yeah, she's
Oh
amazing. She's
wow.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
Chantel,
And Chantel.
I did not know that. Oh,
Yeah.
you are the gift that keeps on giving.
Well, I just want to say I want to point that back to you because kind of like we talked about with purpose at the start, there is an undeniable magnetism to shining your light in service. which is very different, I think, from, kind of what I described as like shopping for
Mm,
your purpose, like you're shopping for a fall coat, like getting it because it's this thing that you're supposed to have or supposed to get. And there's no like shame in that. Like that's a natural part of the process, I think. And that's an essential part of the
yeah,
process to discovering your purpose. But there is just, like that is you, and it's the love that
right.
you pour into the community and the work and everything that you do. It's your purpose is magnetic, and it ripples out to everybody, and people in my life thankfully are
Wow.
flocking to the light.
Thank you. I just want to shout out like my team, Kelly,
Hmm.
who is, pretty new, who has been crushing it, and really gets the CRF Live just tenements of she's just so passionate about people and serving people and just transforming lives. And our nutritionist Michelle, Danielle, and Iman is just she's a queen who's been holding group fitness down, and Nicole with Pilates, Lorenzo with personal training and subbing, and Travis with personal training, and Jay who's been he runs the company to where I have the space to literally just focus on the classes
Hmm.
or training. It does drain me when I used to do like the admin work and the
Hmm.
managerial work,
Yeah.
but I don't have to do any of that now because I have a team to do it in Cassia with all the marketing. I mean, we really have a wonderful team, and that is really a large component of why I show up the way that I do, because I'm not expending that energy
Hmm. Hmm.
doing other
Totally.
jobs.
So, if you listeners, darling listeners, would like to learn more about Rodrick, you can check out corerhythmfitness.net. You can also follow Rodrick on Instagram. Core Rhythm Fitness has an app where you can sign up for your first class, and is the code free class, first class?
There's the code first class or CRF Rodrick. That way, if you do CRF
CRF
Roderick,
Rodrick.
we can track you through me.
So CRF Roderick, I will be there. I would love to see you in class. And I also have done the nutrition offerings, and those have just totally changed my life. I'm so grateful for Michelle. I saw her on the meditation offering that you did recently, and I was like, I miss you. Because I used to talk to her every day as my coach.
Yes, but I'm so glad that you have been coached in sustainability.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And I'm so glad I did all
yeah,
3 chapters of the experience. Like, it's like they say about 90 days creating a new habit and a new pathway. And I just really, really, not only do I feel, but I'm experiencing my life as totally different as it relates to food and nutrition, thanks to that experience.
amazing.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being our guest today. And thank you so much for showing up so radiantly like you do. And I love you.
I love you so much. I can talk to you all day.
For coaching, classes, and community in sensual living, head over to schoolofsensualliving.com. There you'll find a free video workshop in how to overcome anxiety and feel confident in almost any situation through the skill and power of your body language. Go to schoolofsensualliving.com/confidence to start your journey today.